What if I told you that making your first $100,000 is actually harder than becoming a millionaire? It sounds impossible, but it's true, because once you reach this milestone, your money finally starts working harder than you do. Here's why.
Have you ever wondered why so many financial experts keep talking about the first *100,000*? Not 1 million. Not 10 million. Just $100,000. It sounds like a random number, but it isn't. In fact, many self-made millionaires say that earning their first $100,000 was far harder than earning the next several hundred thousand, or even their first million. That might sound impossible. How could making the first $100,000 be harder than making $900,000 after that? The answer isn't magic. It's math. It's psychology. And it's something almost nobody understands until they experience it themselves. Today, we're going to break down why your first $100,000 changes everything, why most people quit before reaching it, and how you can make sure you're one of the few who gets there. Let's get started. Imagine two people. Person A has saved only $5,000. Person B has already built a portfolio worth $100,000. Both invest their money and earn the exact same annual return. Who do you think builds wealth faster? Most people would say they both grow at the same rate. But that's not what actually happens. Person B's money begins producing serious money on its own. At a 10% annual return, a $5,000 investment earns about $500 in a year. Nice. But a $100,000 investment earns around $10,000 in the same time. That's without working extra hours. Without asking for a raise. Without starting another side hustle. Their money starts doing more work than they do. That's the moment everything changes. Here's something that surprises most people. Getting from $0 to $100,000 usually takes the longest. Going from $100,000 to $200,000 is often much faster. Why? Because during the beginning, every dollar comes from your own effort. You're working, saving, budgeting, saying no to unnecessary purchases, building good habits. Every dollar feels difficult because you're creating wealth from nothing. But once you reach six figures, your investments begin adding meaningful amounts by themselves. Instead of feeling like you're pushing a huge rock uphill, the rock finally starts rolling on its own. That's the power of compounding. Think of compound interest like planting a tree. During the first few years, it barely grows. You water it, protect it, take care of it, but it still looks small. Some people get frustrated and stop. Others stay patient. Then suddenly, after enough years, the tree starts growing much faster. Its roots are stronger. Its branches spread wider. The same thing happens with investing. The early years feel slow. Painfully slow. But those years are building the foundation that creates explosive growth later. The problem is that most people quit before they ever see that stage. Let's talk about something nobody likes to admit. Building your first $100,000 has very little to do with investment returns. It has everything to do with behavior. Think about it. If someone saves nothing every month, it doesn't matter whether the stock market earns 8%, 10%, or even 15%. Zero invested still grows into zero. Your savings rate matters far more than your investment returns in the beginning. That's why increasing your income, reducing unnecessary spending, and consistently investing every month matter so much. Before your investments can work for you, you first have to give them something to work with. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for the perfect time to invest. They wait for the market to crash. They wait until they make more money. They wait until interest rates change. They wait until next year. And before they know it, 5 years have passed. The truth is simple. Time in the market usually matters much more than timing the market. Every year you delay investing is another year your money loses the opportunity to compound. Even small monthly investments can become surprisingly large if given enough time. Consistency almost always beats perfection. There's also a powerful psychological shift that happens around the $100,000 mark. Before reaching it, saving money often feels like sacrifice. You skip vacations. You cook at home. You avoid impulse purchases. Sometimes it feels like everyone else is enjoying life while you're missing out. But after building meaningful wealth, your mindset begins to change. Instead of asking, "What can I buy?" you start asking, "What can this money earn for me?" That's one of the biggest mindset changes wealthy people experience. Money stops being something you spend. It becomes something that works for you. Another reason the first $100,000 feels so difficult is inflation. Every year prices rise. Rent increases. Groceries become more expensive. Insurance costs go up. Without investing, your savings slowly lose purchasing power. That's why simply keeping money in a checking account often isn't enough over the long term. Investing gives your money the opportunity to outpace inflation and continue growing. It's one of the few ways ordinary people can protect and increase their purchasing power over time. And here's the encouraging part. You don't need to earn a six-figure salary to reach your first $100,000. Thousands of people have done it with average incomes. They simply stayed consistent. They invested every month. They ignored short-term market noise. They increased their income whenever possible. And most importantly, they didn't quit. Because they understood something most people don't. The beginning is supposed to feel slow. That's not failure. That's how wealth is built. So what actually happens after you reach your first $100,000? This is where the game begins to change. Imagine your investments earn an average annual return of 10%. When your portfolio is worth $10,000, a 10% gain adds about $1,000 in a year. Helpful but not life-changing. Now imagine your portfolio has grown to $100,000. That same 10% return adds around $10,000. And once your portfolio reaches $500,000, that same return could add around $50,000 in a single year. At $1 million, it's about $100,000. Notice something. Your investment strategy didn't change. The market didn't suddenly become better. The only difference is that your money has grown large enough to produce meaningful results on its own. That's why so many investors say the first $100,000 is the hardest. After that, compounding starts doing more of the heavy lifting. Let's look at two friends. Jake starts investing at age 25. He invests $500 every month into a low-cost index fund. Sarah waits until she's 35 because she wants to earn more before she starts. When Sarah finally begins, she invests the same amount every month. She even works just as hard. But Jake has one advantage Sarah can never buy back. Time. Those extra 10 years give Jake's investments thousands of additional opportunities to grow, compound, and recover from market ups and downs. That's why starting early often matters more than investing huge amounts later. Time is the one resource that money can't replace. Now, here's another lesson that separates successful investors from everyone else. They stop trying to get rich overnight. The internet is full of stories about people doubling their money in a few weeks. You'll see videos promising easy profits. You'll hear about secret investment opportunities. But wealth isn't usually built through lucky bets. It's built through boring consistency. Investing regularly. Avoiding unnecessary debt. Keeping costs low. Living below your means. And allowing compound growth to do its job. The exciting path often leads to disappointment. The boring path is the one that builds lasting wealth. Of course, the journey isn't always smooth. Markets go down. Sometimes dramatically. During those moments, many people panic. They sell everything because they're afraid of losing more money. Ironically, that's often when long-term investors make their biggest mistake. Market declines are a normal part of investing. History has shown that markets experience corrections, recessions, and crashes, but over long periods, they've also recovered and continued to grow. Successful investors understand that temporary drops are part of the process. They stay focused on years, not days. So how can you reach your first $100,000 faster? It starts with a simple plan. First, spend less than you earn. That sounds obvious, but it's the foundation of every financial success story. Second, increase your income whenever possible. Learn new skills. Ask for promotions. Start a side business. Freelance. The more you earn, the more you can invest. Third, invest consistently. Don't wait for the perfect market. Set up automatic investments every month and stick to them. Fourth, avoid high-interest debt whenever possible. Credit card interest can destroy years of investment gains. Finally, stay patient. Wealth isn't built in weeks. It's built over years of consistent action. Here's something worth remembering. Your first $100,000 isn't important because of the number itself. It's important because of the habits you develop while reaching it. You learn discipline. You learn patience. You learn how to ignore distractions. You learn to think long-term instead of chasing quick wins. Those habits become valuable long after your portfolio grows beyond 6 figures. Money can come and go, but strong financial habits can last a lifetime. Imagine looking back 10 years from today. You have 2 possible futures. In one future, you kept waiting. You waited for higher income. You waited for lower prices. You waited for the right time. 10 years passed and very little changed. In the other future, you started today. You invested consistently. You stayed patient during market downturns. You ignored the noise. And little by little, your investments grew until one day you looked at your account and realized you'd crossed $100,000. That milestone wasn't luck. It was the result of hundreds of small decisions made consistently over time. Here's the truth. The first $100,000 doesn't change your life because it makes you rich overnight. It changes your life because it proves that your money can now grow alongside your effort. Instead of relying only on your paycheck, you have another engine working in the background. And once that engine becomes powerful enough, every additional dollar has the potential to grow faster than the last. That's the real power of investing. Not getting rich quickly, but giving yourself the freedom that comes from long-term financial growth. Conclusion. If there's one lesson to remember from this video, it's this. The first $100,000 is difficult not because it's impossible, but because most people give up before compound growth has a chance to work. Stay consistent. Keep investing. Trust the process. Your future self will thank you for every dollar you invest today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss more simple strategies to build wealth and achieve financial freedom. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Please subscribe now.